Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing okay and ready for another Saturday. This is the last episode, and I can't believe that we have been covering since last 8 weeks. We've been talking to you all and been delivering technical sessions, behavioral session, and we are getting a lot of support from all of you, a lot of love, a lot of feedback. So that's really interesting. And I'm a little sad also because it's going to end, but that's again, it's not going to end permanently. We'll be coming up with more interesting stuff as we move forward, but I appreciate you all being here and helping us out and helping you in a way that you could learn a lot and get started from for becoming a solution architect or for any other role. So I have full house with me and we have few people missing, but probably they would join later. Let me add to stage Prasad. So Prasad is here. Then we have Parna here. We also have Kavya and we have Shashank also here. Marco and Kapil could not join today, but probably they would be joining maybe in time if they permit. So let's continue. We will be continuing with the same stuff. Now, quick feedback before we start. How you are feeling, Prasad, Parna, Shashank, Kavya? It's been like 7 weeks and this is eighth week. I know it is a lot of commitment personally, professionally. So just a 1 minute answer if you could provide.
Yeah, actually feeling great. It's not easy to commit 8 hours both from our side and even for the participant side. And I've seen more than 100 people joining live and then watching videos afterwards. It's really good the kind of commitment we are seeing from the audience. And thank you everyone. Shashank, Parna, Kavya, Ashish, you, Marco, Kapil. As you all can see, it takes a village to run a show like this. Planning, starting from planning, and then promoting, and then going to the registrations, developing the curriculum, delivering it, then sending out the emails. A lot of work, but it's all rewarding. Thanks to you all because you all keep coming back every week.
Great.
So
Parna?
from my side, it's awesome to see so many people getting certified from the BESA
That's
viewers.
interesting. Yeah.
So congratulations to all of you and those who are going to be giving the exam. We would love to hear back from you too, even though we might take a small break. And what I really loved was that a lot of you went and did so much hands-on. So you all
Hmm.
went beyond the workshop. You all tried out your own projects. So that's for us is like a great feeling that you've learned, taken away, and did your own thing. So kudos for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Hire the best, isn't it? Go ahead, Shashank.
I would say 7 weeks flew by. This is the last one. Can't believe it that. And possibly this is the second season I'm joining in. I would say
Hmm.
time flies, but every time you log in to LinkedIn and see people thanking you, makes me come here again and again. And that's what I say.
I
That
agree on
brings me
that.
here.
And we have Kapil also. Let's go to Kavya. So Kavya, give us a 1 minute view of. I think you are. This is your first season. You are helping us out, right? You are volunteering.
Yes, yeah. It is the first season I'm joining BISA, and I'm extremely grateful to Ashish, Prasad, Parna, and everyone in the team. Along with people learning so many things technically, I have also learned about so many things, especially SageMaker Canvas. Since I
Okay.
gave that session, I've been getting so many opportunities to give the demos a lot of times. So I think extremely grateful for this opportunity, and I love to join more in the future.
No, we need all hands we can.
Yes,
So
sure.
Kapil, you joined us. Thank you. And we are going through a 1 minute retrospective. Like, okay, there's been 7 weeks. This is last week. What do you think been this 7 week or 8 weeks been? Just a 1 minute intro if you can.
So I didn't quite participated this time actively, but I was like in backstage answering the question and looking at how people are progressing and how engaged they are, and especially in this like almost a kind of new track in Gen AI and ML. So this
Hmm.
time we did a lot of hands-on sessions. So I think, as Kavya said, I learned a lot. Great work, Sasank and Ashish, on workshop and Kavya. So it's great learning for me as well.
I agree. And I'm reading Pawan's note here that on the lighter note, time does fly. That is why I'm joining 4 p.m. rather than 3 p.m. Yeah. We had a mess up, or I would say I personally had a mess up. See, I was in different time zone. I was in UK, I was going to Dubai, I came to India and then other places. So I messed up with the time zone thing. But yeah, everything is okay so far. People who could not join live, probably they would be able to watch the YouTube thing. But thanks everyone for that. Let's get started and we'll keep on answering question. I'll remove everyone from stage and I'll ask Shashank to present this slide. because I am traveling and I do not have my whole setup with me. So Shashank is helping out me today with these setup things here. So let me get started here and then we'll keep on moving forward. Give me a minute and we will get started. Now, probably Shashank, I see something at the top which says stop sharing. So that small bar, if you could drag it to a different window, that would be really useful. Uh, yeah, makes sense. But yeah, still I see that. Yeah, it can be moved or no. If it not, can be removed, leave it. That's fine. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. That's a good place to keep it. So we'll quickly start. And as an icebreaker question, if you could move to the next slide, I want to know one of the thought-provoking movies you have watched. Obviously, a lot of movies are there for entertainment, but some of them may have a lot deeper meaning, and you may have obviously stumbled upon one of those things. So just as an icebreaker question, let me know. Sunil was waiting for icebreaker question. So here it is. So one of the most thought-provoking movie, if you have watched, what is it? And if you have any suggestions, let me know. That would be so nice. Yep. Matrix, come on. John, you stole my idea. That is one of the movies which I like. And I remember that movie came long back and it was so forward from its own time. Pursuit of Happiness, really nice one. Really great work done by the actor. Come on, Will Smith. Yeah, so that was good one. Rajesh is saying Three Idiots, really good one. Enter the Void. I haven't seen that SGV work. I have to check that. Minority Report is interesting one. Har is good one. Pursuit of Happiness is obviously really thought provoking. I'll reveal mine and then Shashank would reveal his thought provoking movie. So for me, I would say one movie. Shashank, if you can go to next slide, that would be nice. A Beautiful Mind is one. That is nice one. So see the Matrix. So John, we are on the same page. And then Pink is one of the again thought-provoking movies which I like in India. So in Hindi. So if you get time, obviously there are subtitles available if you do not speak or understand Hindi. But it's a really thought-provoking movie. I would say is Pink. So thanks everyone. Lagan is obviously good one. Abduction, Inception. I had to keep Matrix here instead of Inception because initially I had Inception, but then I thought no, Matrix has three series and that makes more sense to me, so I kept it. But yeah, it is interesting one. So Dr. Nambi Narayan, ISRO scientist, that is a good one too. I agree on that. Yeah, that is about the all these the things they have. Shashank Redemption is obviously nice one. Thank you everyone. Let's get started with the track. So let's move to the next slide here. So this is week 8, 5th April. We will talk about building a serverless text-to-speech application. And this is an end-to-end situation we will be handling. We would have a idea given to us and we will start implementing it. And at the end, we will have a full-blown application. And you could also leverage it for your own work, should not be a problem. And then we would have a behavioral track where we'll be talking about what do the first 3 to 6 months of an essay at AWS looks like. Vikas would be joining us today. He's a solution architect manager in UK, and he would be helping us in understanding these things. So yeah, this is what the agenda is. And some of you may be wondering that why we are talking about how 3 to 6 months looks at an essay. So Prasad will talk about that, why we have selected this particular topic, what is the rationale behind it, not just interview, but afterwards what happened. It is also good to know. So let's keep moving forward here. Chronicles of Narnia. That is a good one too, Sandy. Okay, next slide, please. So we will talk about building a serverless text-to-speech application. A common thing is like we all take notes, right? So we take notes and then probably if you're driving or if you're commuting, you may want to hear it rather than reading it. So that is where we can use this type of application. I know there are a lot of tools available, but if you build on your own, something which is very practical, something which you can use on a day-to-day basis, that would be really nice. So that's what we are going to go ahead and discuss here today. Let's go to next slide. Now, we are little bit shying away this time from the other services which we have so far talked about. So if I talk about this layered approach of AWS, in every places we will find layers available. So let's talk about the first layer, what is available here. So we provide customer specialized infrastructure. So in this specialized infrastructure, there are Trainium and Inferentia instances. So a customer want to train the model or run inferences on their own, go ahead and build these things into Trainium and Inferentia instances. So that is for people who want everything hands-on. On top of it, if you feel that, hey, I don't want to get get hands dirty in those things, but I want some customizable services which I can start working on. So that is where Bedrock comes in and SageMaker comes in. Bedrock is more hands off, where you do not need to worry about anything. You can create a model, access a model, and start working. And in SageMaker, you can bring and create a fine tuning of your model, should not be problem. So that is for more technical people. But there is another layer on top of it, on which we ensure that you do not need to know about all the details of machine learning. We give you very specific services here, and I can't put it all on the slide because we have around 25 plus services here which can help you into these specific areas. So we'll focus on what these specific services are and what we can achieve from that. So there are 25 plus services which can be helpful, and today's focus is on these services, not all of them but some of them, so that we can leverage these services. Also, you may not need Bedrock for everything or SageMaker for everything. If there's a ready-made service, why don't I start using it? So that is the focus of the session today. Let's go to next slide, please. So this is how the scenario looks like. So all these 25 plus services which are related to text, speech, vision, I have divided into two categorization. One is a core service, which is integrating with any other services of your choice, like you have translate, very common thing, like you translate from one language to another. You need to comprehend to understand the semantic of whatever the conversation is happening. Poly is there, transcribe is there, and we'll be using some of these services. And for vision, you have recognition, text extract, and panorama. So these are very commonly used core services when it comes to AI ML stack. And on the right side, what you see is plethora of other services also, which are very focused on a specific solution. Let's say I talk about Amazon Health Lake. So obviously the name says it focuses on all the health data and manipulation and maintenance of that. Then we have Monitron, then we have Forecast, then we have Fraud Detector. So they have very specific use cases. And the good part is that all the services can integrate, right? So I can take an output from maybe translate, put it into comprehend, and from comprehend, whatever summary comes up, I could put it into poly, and it can start then relating it into a voice format. So all these services are interconnected, and today we will leverage some of these services and see how they work together and how they work with other AWS services like Lambda, API Gateway, and then S3 and all type of stuff. So that's what we are going to discuss for today's section. Now, if you want to know more on these, you can check my service summary cards where I have explained into one single page what these individual services are doing, why you would be needing it. But yeah, now this is what sets the stage for the technical track. So let's go to the next slide, and then Shashank will help you in having a demo. We will build an application and we'll share the workshop link, so you could also try it on your own account. And you do not need Bedrock for that. You do not need SageMaker. It's very low hanging fruit. So please complete this workshop. It would give you a good hands-on experience. So over to Shashank. Maybe on mute, Shashank. So
Cool. Thanks a lot, Ashish. And yep, even I'm on one screen today. So
oh,
just allow me time. And yeah, I'm majorly on one screen when I'm at home. But yeah, it's perfectly fine for me. Okay. I hope you are able to see my screen, right?
all good, all good. Yep.
All good? Okay, cool. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Good morning, wherever you're joining us from, right? Today we are going to do a workshop which is all about serverless application. It is about text to speech, and we are going to leverage Amazon Poly. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it very shortly. My team would have given you the link, right, for this particular workshop. If you're willing to get started, let's do it together. Or if you want to see me demonstrating it, let's see that first, and then you can do it at your own pace. Okay, we have almost around 30 to 40 minutes in hand, good enough. So firstly, I'll do is I always like to show what is this application all about. We'll see it in action, followed by architecture hands-on diagram that how the flow looks like. Then we'll read through the instructions which are given here, right? And then we'll implement it in our account. Okay. So this will be the flow which is looking like. Fine. So firstly, let's see it in action. So if we are going to see it in action, this is the final output which is going to look like. This is your application which is going to look like, right? So I'm going to select an voice. What is Amazon Poly? It is going to help me convert text to speech. There are different engines which are available here, right? Okay, so I'm going to select Jana and I'm going to say, hello world, thanks for joining today's session. Okay. And I'll just remove this much part and I'll say convert text to speech. And it is, it has converted it. So what am I doing is I'm taking this particular post ID and I'll paste it here. I'll look up for it and it will help me with that particular MP3 file, right? I think you were able to hear that, right? And if not, it is all about just hello world. Thanks for joining today's session as per Jonas' voice. Okay. Now you'll be like, hey, buddy,
Shashank,
can I?
can we
Yeah,
make this little zoomed in because this is
sure.
currently like a browser setting or something? Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it, but yeah, I people like me who
yeah.
wear glasses, that would be it. This is perfect. Thank you.
No worries. No, it's perfectly fine. Done. Okay. So, everyone you saw, all I did was I'm just doing a refresh and, you know, I typed here something, right? So what we are doing is adding a note, another one. This is my second note, right? And I'm gonna say convert text to speech. It has done it in the background. I'm going to look up with that particular post ID. I'm going to do a search. It's converting, adding a note to it. It said in Jona voice, right? And if I do a star, which means look up for all post ID, it will list me all the notes which we created right now and the one which I had done earlier, right? So this is a small application which is all about adding notes, looking up for the notes, that is getting the note, and then we are hitting the button convert text to speech over here, and we are hitting the button play, wherein we are going to play that particular audio file, right? Okay, so far so good, everyone. Yep. And if you were able to access the workshop link, let's get started there. This is the diagram which is going to look like. How does it look like? It looks something like this. Do not worry about it. I'll break it down into smaller chunks and we'll run the workshop accordingly. So just give me a minute and I'll start showing you the diagram. How does it look like, right? So just give me a second and here we go. So how does it look like? It would be is everyone, since the application is hosted on S3, right? Why S3? Because we have taken S3 so that we are able to host the index file on it. So there is no EC2 instance involved, which means it's a serverless application entirely. So here we have something which is called as S3 bucket. This bucket is thrown open to public, so it is publicly accessible. On this S3, you have something which is called as index.html, which is allowing you to do what? Allowing you to add nodes, right? Allowing you to search for those nodes and allowing you to convert text to speech and let you play that MP3 file, right? Okay, so far so good. So this is your web page which is hosted on S3. Now, when an end user is coming in, what is happening is an end user is accessing your website. They are going to click on the buttons. These buttons are dynamic in nature. So when I say add notes, it has to be added in the database, right? So at that particular point of time, what will happen, everyone? Think about it. When I click on a button, it is going to take it to API gateway and based on the path what I've selected. So when I have selected that, hey buddy, just give me a second. Hey buddy, if the path is add notes, it should add note. If it is for search note, it should search note. So what am I going to do is when I say search notes, I will call the lambda, which is called as get notes. And when I want to add a note, it will trigger a lambda add note. I hope this is so far so good to you. If you have any questions, requesting team to unmute or put it here, I'll explain it. Yep. So this is how the flow looks like. So when I say add note, this will be triggered. When I say search, this will be triggered. Yep. Now, when I'm saying for get notes, it's going to find it in my database, which is called as DynamoDB. When I say add notes, what was happening, everyone? We are doing it asynchronously. So whenever I'm adding lambda, okay, add node, it is going to fire to our service, which is called a simple notification service. We have created here something which is called as topic. And to that topic, I have subscribed another lambda. This is a third lambda we are talking about now. This lambda is going to convert text to speech, right? So it's going to convert your note ID. It's going to take the note of yours. It's going to convert that text to speech. How it will convert? It will convert by calling our service, which is called as poly. This poly will give you an output, which would be in an MP3 format. So where do I store that MP3 file? Will I store it in the database, DynamoDB? No. In DynamoDB, I'll have to store the data which is in KBs. So we'll stash it into another S3, which is meant for only hosting media files, and then the path, the path to the MP3 file will be updated in this DynamoDB. I hope that's clear to you. Yeah. So this is how we are going to run across. Once again, quickly letting you run through few things. I did talk about P lambdas. First lambda is going to get your notes. Second lambda is to add notes. And as a part of it, there is something which is called as lambda convert text to speech, which will send it to poly. And later we'll add this in our DynamoDB. Similarly, I did talk about everyone. Another thing that there is one S3 bucket which is hosting your website part, wherein you are going to host your files, where you are going to list the notes. And on the second would be only the media part, wherein your all MP3 files would be hosted. Both the buckets right now, as a part of workshop, they are public in nature, which means anything and everything inside it will be exposed to people. We are going to create one API gateway. We are going to create some methods, which is going to route our calls, right? Based on what are we calling, what particular method we are going to call. We are going to create database, which is DynamoDB to begin with, which is going to host all our nodes, what particular node it is, what the status it is, where is that MP3 file, which we can play. Okay, so this is how the flow will look like, and you will get a response back, everyone. Fine. Now, if this looks good to you, if you don't have any questions, allow me to proceed towards the lab, wherein we'll begin with DynamoDB first. After that, slowly and gradually, we'll follow the instructions and see it in action. Okay, so far so good? Yep, cool. So I'll proceed towards our lab part. So I'll hide this up and allow me a second. This is where our workshop is, right? I'll make this also as a small screen. What I'll do is I'll divide the screen into two parts, everyone, so that we are able to navigate and I don't have to do too much of here and there. Okay, I'm going to open a AWS account. Since I'm using a workshop, it will be easy for me to do it in that AWS account. But if you are following the instructions, you can do it in your AWS account as well. Don't worry about it. And see, likewise, I say, always things are meant to break. It's not opening. So we'll wait for a minute. Or else I have it ready in my another browser. Don't worry about it. Just waiting for it to load. Okay, I think so it opened. Yep, it opened. So this is a blank AWS account. Nothing is created. I'll do it along with you, majorly, every single thing, as much as we can, till our given amount of time. Okay, so everyone, to begin with, this is the flow which I explained. So we are going to begin with first something which is called as DynamoDB, wherein we are going to store the nodes. Fine. So first thing, create a DynamoDB table. So what I'll have to look for? I'll have to look for the service which is called as DynamoDB. I will create a table. Table name would be post, and I'll only create one partition ID, which is ID, and that's all I'm going to do. Rest all fields, what you see here, they will be dynamically populated when we are creating the nodes. You don't have to worry about it. So what I'll do is I'll go here. I'll look for DynamoDB. I'll zoom in here as well a bit. Yep. So that it's easy for everyone. We searched for DynamoDB. I want to create a table. So I'll click here. All important buttons in AWS are right here on the top, right? So it's here, create table, right? But I have already created here one. So I'll show that to you. Okay. So how do I see it? The items will be here. So let's see. For the demo, which I showed you everyone, there were 3 entries, right? All those 3 entries are over here. Okay. So if I take this particular link, right, and if I do another entry, let's see it's happening there in the background or not. So this is my 4th note, right? I'm just hitting create. So it's gonna add note. Let's hit a run here. See this? This is my 4th node, right? Right now it is processing. Processing means what? It doesn't have that MP3 file there, which means the conversion is happening asynchronously. And later we will come and update and put that path file over here. Don't worry about it. I'll show it to you gradually. Just trying to give you a glimpse about what's happening here so that, see this, it happened, right? So what happened is it's asynchronous. It's just like you are going to a coffee shop and you're asking for coffee, they give you a token. After 5 minutes, they call your name and say, coffee of Shashank, and you go and collect it, right? Yep, the same thing happened here. You're not waiting here for the response to come, but we are doing it asynchronously. We are doing it asynchronously, which is then you see that S3 URL got updated here. What did I say? As a part of lab, you're just going to create the ID part. The rest all things will get populated. Do not worry about it. Just for the demonstration purpose, trying to show you, you will only create an ID, which is partition key. When we start running the code, this will get populated on its own. So don't worry about it. And that's the beauty of DynamoDB. Okay. So all you had to do was come to DynamoDB, create a table, select here post, put here the table name or the partition key, which I was talking about, right? And that's all. Just hit the button create and you would be able to see a table like mine. Yep. And if once you enter items in it, you want to check, hit the button explore, you would be able to see it. Fine. So far, so good. Okay. So now, if I move on to the next step, we are going to create a S3 bucket. This bucket is meant to host your media files. What did I say? This is where we are going to put our all MP3 files, which Polly is going to create it for us. Yes. So what is the first step? The first step is to look for S3. We'll create a bucket, which is audio post dash number. The number, you can take it right from here. Have a look. This is my account ID. You can postfix. So your bucket could be audio space this, right? And whatever you create, write it in a notepad, make it a habit so that you don't have to flip flop or switch between the screens and it will be difficult for you. Okay. So this is DynamoDB. What I'll do, I'll duplicate this tab and I'll look for something which is called as S3. Okay. So this is S3. We are getting in and I'll close all these banners. Okay. So I've created one bucket, which is called as audio post. How do you create a bucket? I'll show that to you quickly first. You'll hit on the button, which is create bucket. You will add the bucket name, which is audio space. I'll copy this particular account ID from here and I'll post it here. This is to ensure the bucket is unique and it's available. If you wish to keep something different, just copy and keep it handy. After that, select ACLs being enabled. This is to ensure the bucket ownership is preferred, which means if I've created, I can see it. Yep. And here you will hit this button, which means uncheck. If you uncheck, this means your bucket is going to be from private to public. I accept that risk. I know what am I doing, and I'm acknowledging that. And with that, you will hit the button, which is called as create bucket. And once you're done, we are done with this particular step, everyone. So bucket name, you need to give it. ACLs, you need to enable it. Uncheck the button, which is all about letting your bucket being public, acknowledging the risk that the bucket is public. Yep. And after that, you will hit the button create and your bucket will be created. Moving towards the third step, which will be creating a SNS, simple notification service. So SNS, what are we going to do? We know that if it is a AWS blog, a blog may have more than 2,500 characters, or it may have more amount of words. And Poly may take time to convert to that particular audio. So what we have done, we have ensured that we have created it asynchronous. Yeah. So what we do in SNS, we go and create a topic. Topic would be I am selecting a Uber drive. So when you go into Uber, there is a trip ID. Whenever you sit or you book a Uber, the moment you sit inside, you get a pin. You say the pin is verified, you get a notification on your app. You also get an email once the trip is over. All such notifications are coming in from this particular service, SNS. So what are we doing here? The moment there is a new post which is created, we are alerting Lambda, bro, wake up and convert that text to speech, right? So SNS is going to tell that. So whenever there is a new post, we have created this particular name, and this is the display name, which is new post, right? Whenever I create a topic, you will copy paste that ARN. What is ARN? Amazon resource name. You will copy paste that and you will keep it handy for your reference purpose. Okay, so copy paste that and keep it handy. How did I do it? I'll show that to you. Okay, so we'll look for, first I'll duplicate it, and then I'll look for something which is called as SNS. And SNS is right over here. Okay, so here is the topics. This is a topic which I've created. And this is ARN, which you need to copy paste and keep it handy, entire thing. Okay, so what I did, I went to create a topic. I selected as standard as per what it has said, right? So there is nothing which is given. Yep. So we can select standard or we can select FIFO. FIFO means first in, first out. In a queue, the one who enters comes in first, comes out first, right? Okay. So first in, first out, or it could be standard, right? You can select this based on as per your application requirement, right? We won't dive deep here further, but it's one of the good topics for you to remember when to use FIFO, when to use standard. Now, here you will be selecting something which is called as new post. So this is what you will post it here. And this is a display name, which is new post. So I'll take it from here. Okay. If you're on Windows, you can press Windows and right icon so that you can split your screens into 50-50, right? And all I have to do is just hit the button, create topic. Once you do that, it will create a topic for you and something like this will be shown to you on screen. So this is a new post which I have created. This is an Amazon resource name, which is ARN. And this you have to keep it handy in one of your notepads while you're doing it so that we are going to do that replacement whenever we are going to do it in this particular task, which is 9. Fine. So keep it handy, please. That's all I'll say. Now, we'll move towards our next one, which is step number 4. If you remember, I said we have created 3 lambdas. So the first one is whenever you're going to create a new post. So whenever you're going to create a new post, what are we going to do it? Whenever we are going to create a new post, we are going to generate a new DynamoDB ID, record ID there. We are going to enter in the database wherein we are writing put item. We are going to add an item in the database, right? Where you saw it was showing the status processing when the text was getting converted to speech. Yes, so I did show you while I had created a new entry. So that insertion is happening over here. Then once the insertion in database happens, what it will do, it will go and tell SNS, hey buddy, there is one topic which is ready, right? So there will be a record ID or there will be a blog ID. What am I talking about? I'm talking about is this. There is one which is available there, one new post which is available there, which you need to convert to speech. Fine. Okay, so this is what it is happening. If you do not understand, start using Amazon Q, put in it, tell it to explain, comment it. It will help you understand line by line. Fine. Now, in whenever we are going to give it to Poly, yeah, out of dozen of voices which are supported by Poly. So what does this mean? This means what we are saying is we are giving a parameter. So Poly voice, yeah. So these are the voices and these are the engines which are available there. And these are the languages which are available there. Just go and have a look, play with them. Perfectly fine. You choose the one which suits you. But as per the lab, we are going with Joanna precisely. Yep. And we'll give it a try. So this is what it is talking about. And the text of the note, we'll be passing it and we will convert it to speech. Fine. Okay. So this is all we are going to do. And I have done it. So I'll show it to you and I'll show it to you in action. So once again, I'm coming here. I'm going to duplicate this. I've opened all the tabs in sequence so that you don't get confused. And I keep duplicating them. So the first one is we have created a new post. So what we did, I created a new Lambda. I selected Python runtime 3.12. And then whatever the code was given here, I have copy pasted it. And while I was creating, I have given it an existing role, which is called a slab lambda role. Please remember, if lambda has to trigger any service, you will have to use a role, and that execution role is given over here. Please ensure that you select it. So how did we reach here? I'll show that to you quickly, right? We created a function. I just copy pasted this particular one, function name. Yep. I selected the runtime. So since it's already existing, I'll add one. I selected the runtime 3.12. Ensure that it's same as per the instructions. Here, ensure that you use an existing role and you select the right one, which is lab lambda role, and you will hit create. Fine. Once you hit the button create, then what magic I have done, I'll show to you over here. What did I do here then after that? I did is I copy pasted the snippet, the lambda function over here. Yep. I added it here and I hit the button deploy. After that, we went to configuration. In that, we added some environment variables. What we gave, the DynamoDB table name, which we have created right over here. Yes, that is given over here. Second, we had created an SNS. Whenever there is a new post, SNS topic will get triggered. We had taken it from here and that we have given it over here so that there's no hard coding of those environment variables. After that, we went in general configuration and here you can make it a timeout, whatever time it is given over here. So do we have, have they given? See this, they have given. So by default timeout is 3 seconds. And now as per the instructions of lab, we have done it to 10 seconds. Okay. And then what are we going to do once it's deployed? Always we are going to test it. So we'll go here and we have passed on the voice Joanna and we are going to say this is working. This is a text which I want to put it in. I'm doing test and it will turn green if everything works fine. It worked fine. Entry in the DynamoDB would be done. And it is saying selected voice is Joanna. Input text is this. Entry done in DynamoDB. And this is a record ID. Is it true? So let me go and check it out. What I'll do, I'll go here. I'll run. It should turn 5. And if I do Control F and find, it is highlighting. It's right over here. Right? I just added it. It even converted into MP3. How did it do it? We'll talk about it soon. But this was the work of adding a new post. Okay. So far, so good. Any questions? Feel free to, Prasad, anyone else on the team who is there in the chat support, let me know. Happy to help you there. Okay. So this is how we tested everyone and it succeeded. This was a part of Lambda to create a note. Now, you have seen the MP3 file path was also done. Okay. So create is also triggering another one, which is called as convert to audio lambda function. Same steps to create a new one. The name we are going to keep is convert to audio. We are going to add this particular snippet of code, and then we are going to do some changes, which is DynamoDB table environment variable name, S3 bucket name, as well as the timeout, which is updated to 5 minutes. Same steps like before, only one change. When we will trigger this particular convert one, who will trigger it? Who will trigger? The lambda add nodes is going to trigger this particular lambda, right? So what I'll do is I'll come back here in lambda functions. Currently, we are talking about convert to audio. I'll go there. On here, we have added a trigger. Who is triggering it? How do I get to know? I get to know when there is a SNS notification that there is a new block which is waiting to be converted. And this will trigger this particular lambda. Okay. There were some configurations which were done, which was timeout to 5 minutes. Environment variables were added, DynamoDB table, as well as the bucket name. And the code which was given, it's just mentioned it over here. What it does, it fetches a URL, it adds it in the DynamoDB, yes, and we are storing it in an S3 file. So you can go and see how we invoked poly here, how we synthesize the code, what are the parameters you can give, and what audio engines you can use. I have already shown it to you in that particular link. Yep. So we're going to test whether this is working fine or not. Let's do that. We'll hit on button test, and we are going to pass some values to check whether it's getting working or not. So there is no test value which is given over here. So we'll go and test it out in the task 6. Let's see, right? So there is no task or there is no snippet of code which is given here to test whether it is working fine or not. So sorry for that. How do I test it then, whether it got triggered or not? We can go and see it in the monitor one. I can see when it was triggered way back in the past, and does it get triggered now as well? So there will be bleeps which you are able to see on the screen, right? It is going to show whether it happened successfully or not. If it is successful, it is in green color. Yes, and so far so good, it's entirely green. Okay, so you can go and check it out here, and you can see it in action. Just to get you all on same page, since I've been talking so far, all I just want to say is what right now I showed you was this particular path. We added lambda node. Which is triggering SNS. SNS trigger lambda text to speech, converting, asking Poly to convert text to speech, generating that MP3 file, storing it into S3, updating that path in DynamoDB. Yeah, this is what part we just saw so far. Before that, we had created a lambda, which was to add nodes. Any questions, anyone so far? All good? Cool? Okay. Then what we will do is we'll write a lambda to get your post. Yep. You saw here, right? When I was showing you, you saw here that I was trying to get the nodes. So where is that? Where is that? Just give me a second. Somewhere I lost it in between, maybe. Okay. So how do I get it? How do I get where is my website hosted? So my website is hosted here. We'll see it shortly. Don't worry. Right now, I'm just taking the endpoint. Where is my website hosted? This is the website hosted. So what are we going to do, everyone? We are going to see how this button is working. When I put the search ID, that is when I add a new one, yeah, let it come. Okay, so I'm waiting for it. When I take the new one, it is able to pull it. And when I am going to mention star, so if I put a regex star wildcard character, it is listing all the nodes. Yes, so that is what we are going to talk about lambda get post. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are looking for a specific post ID, or we are looking for star, wherein we are scanning the table and we are showing you all the records there. Okay. And you just hit deploy, do some changes. You have to pass on the DynamoDB table name, and you can test it out with this particular one. Okay. So let's go and see that particular Lambda, which is all about getting the post. So this is Lambda, which is all about getting the post. What I'll do is I'll go and first test it out. It's right over here, post ID. We are going to test what it is going to give me. It's going to give me output all the entries which are there in the DynamoDB table. Fine. So it's all about listing nodes. That's it. Fine. So two lambdas, which are very important. One is lambda to get the nodes. Another lambda is to add nodes. Now we are exposing both of those lambda to internet. So what you will place in front of it? You will place a API gateway in front of it. So what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? This is lambda get nodes. This is lambda add nodes. This is your S3 bucket, which you have exposed it to public. We are going to add API gateway now. And we are going to add methods, which are going to route your calls accordingly. So this will be a REST API. We are going to take it up. Yep. And this will allow us to expose these two lambdas nicely and gracefully. So let's check what is it all about. That is task 8, everyone. Okay. So what are we going to do? We are going to create an API gateway. This is an API name, description, which is fine. Lambda endpoints, regional, we are going to select. We're going to hit the button, create API. After that, I said we are going to select two methods, right? The first one would be when I'm hitting new post or when I'm hitting a get post. That's it. And we are going to have cross origin resource enabled. How to enable that, I'll show to you. And after that, I'll add certain things, which I'll show that to you quickly. Cool. Now, I'll go here again. This is a demo URL. I'll duplicate this. Just see the sequence of tabs I have opened. It will help you understand the way I'm going. Now, I'll look for something which is called as API Gateway. So API Gateway is all about building, you're managing APIs, right? So what are we going to do is, you have already created an API. This is a post reader API. How are you going to create methods in it? You're going to create methods by hitting this particular button. First is you're going to do a get. Get will be definitely for getting the nodes. When you add nodes, it will be a post call. Yep. So these are the two things which are added. After that, we enable CORDS, cross-origin resource sharing. Yep. You will select these two buttons along with the instructions. As per the instructions, just look for it. Yep. It's right here. See this? Fine. 4xx, 5xx errors, and select get and post. And you will say OK. And you will hit your API gateway live. And before you deploy, there's a last one thing. You're taking an input from someone, right? You're taking an input, post ID. What am I doing? I'm asking for ID from the customer. So I want to pass it on dynamically. So we are going to do some integration. Yes, we are going to do some integration. I'm going to add in the mapping template that this is a post ID which is coming in from the end person. Where you will do it? You will do it in the get post method. So what am I going to do? I am going to go back to my API gateway. I am going to the resources we have created. We'll go into get. In get, I'm going to hit integration request. I'm going to pass on my post ID over here. Here, we'll scroll down. We'll add a mapping template, which is application JSON. And I'm going to add my dynamic parameter, which is post ID, which is given here. This is just as per the instructions we have done. And after that, you'll hit the button deploy. And the moment you hit deploy, it will ask you, do you want to create a new stage? I have already selected a new stage, which is called as development environment for me. I'll write what changes I've done, and you will hit the deploy. The most common error in our developing stages, what we do is we do changes in API gateway, but we do not hit the button deploy. We expect those changes to reflect, and we keep on troubleshooting. So always understand, whenever you do the changes, write the notes, appropriate notes, and then hit deploy, right? And you will hit the button deploy. Fine. Okay. So these are the small things what you had to do. After that, if you remember now, we did 3 lambdas, but 2 S3 buckets were there. We have just created 1 S3 bucket. You'll be wondering where this UI is coming in from, right? Where is this? So that is the last part, creating another S3 bucket, which is at the start. Yep. So all in all, net, where is it exactly? It is sitting over here. I'm talking about this one now. I'm going to create a new www and some prefix webs S3 bucket, but we are going to throw it public. Along with that, we are going to enable website hosting there, and that's the endpoint URL HTTP. We are hitting it in the browser. Okay, so where am I going to get those HTML files, JS files, CSS files? Whatever you see is available there as a part of task 9. So we'll go and see that. So going to task 9 now, this is where I have right-clicked on them and I've stored it in one of my local folders. And then what I did was I had to do some change. What I had to do a change? Whatever output you get from API gateway, everyone, you had to do a change in script.js file and you had to change your endpoint. So do remember, you have to do one replacement, which is about API gateway change to be done in the first line of script.js file. Okay, I'm just opening it here. This is a line which you need to edit. Keep those double inverted properly and just replace your API gateway endpoint URL. What am I referring to? I'm referring to something which is over here, APIs. This is my API, and there would be my deployment API. The moment you hit deploy, you will get the deployment URL or you will get the endpoint URL and you are going to hit it. Okay. So I'm just not now trying to look for it in the interest of time, but it is there. Fine. It will have this particular thing in the URL. So look for it and keep it handy, which you will be needing it in task 9. Fine. Okay. So I've done the replacements. I have uploaded this particular file, but where have I uploaded? I have created a new bucket, which is www dash something. So let's go and see. I'll duplicate this tab. Okay, it's here. This is www.audiopost. Yep. So what we have done here, these are the 3 files we have added. If the URL is proper, index.html can be shown. If the URL is not proper, you can add error.html as well. I have just dragged and dropped it here. The bucket is thrown public. Yes. And in the permissions, we have changed the RBP. We have changed the bucket policy. And there, please ensure whatever name you give, it is exactly the same. Only then it will work for you. So please ensure that whatever name you see here is same as whatever you see here. If you have given the bucket name different, please update it accordingly. Along with that, what I have done is I've scrolled down here and I have enabled the website hosting part, which is static website hosting over here. With this bucket is thrown public. And if I click on it, it opens this particular URL. Fine. With this, I showed you an end-to-end demonstration all about how did we land up creating a static HTML pages turned with dynamic buttons in it, hosted still on S3. It is going to API gateway, then to Lambda, then to corresponding services, how we are triggering Poly, how we are going to convert it into MP3 and store it and bring it in our database, and how does it look like in the end, right? So this is all about it, everyone. Have any questions, let me know. Happy to take it up next 5 minutes, or else hand it over to our next panelist who would be waiting for us.
Yeah, let's take some questions so that it would be really
Sure.
nice to understand
Sure.
And
Yeah.
there were some questions related to log. So, like,
Yeah.
let me pull that question. Is there any
Yeah.
log to see? Here is a question from Bhavin about, I mean, is there any log to see what are event objects?
Logs as in precisely at lambda level, you're asking?
Yes, it's Lambda specific
Okay.
questions.
So you can trigger, you can save logs, you can have like CloudWatch logs there, which is mentioned over here also that how you will be able to test it out, right? I didn't touch about it much, but there is an, how you can see it in CloudWatch logs. You can see there. Majorly, what I like to see is in the monitor tab itself, check it out whether it is my error, 4xx or 5xx error. Is it working fine? Did it get triggered? So seeing that, I understand. If you like to watch logs, you can integrate with CloudWatch and you can watch it accordingly. I hope that helps.
Excellent. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
And in case somebody needs to go further deep into the whole architecture, they can use X-ray. That
Yep.
can be integrated well. So, like
Yep.
in case you want to understand how much time API gateway took, how much time X-ray, sorry, Lambda did, how much time
Lambda.
it took to trip to DynamoDB. So you could get the
Yeah.
whole map of the service or the application using Amazon X-ray. So that is a nice addition. Also, you could have leveraged on that. And another was, let me pick it up. Or any questions if there are from people, please keep it coming. We would be happy to answer for 3 or 4 minutes what we have. And there was some question about the Lambda role getting created. Parna answered it, and I'm highlighting it. So there is a cloud formation which you deploy, and as part of it, there will be some roles automatically getting created. But yeah, it's not rocket science. If you want to create things on your own, also feel free to do it. Maybe it will take little more time. Cloud formation gives you a standard way of deploying thing, and when you have to delete, you just delete one time, and all the things are gone. So that is the free flexibility you get with cloud formation. Okay. What else was there? Anyone else? Any other question? Let me see if there is more comments here. They like the workshop, Shashank. So this is from Anand. And I like your
Thank you.
demos, and I especially like the way you write on the screen. I also write, but it doesn't look like writing. It looks like a scribble. So, so good thing there. Uh,
Yeah.
so there was a question which is, could you say how API gateway fits into the solution? You explained it, but maybe just 1 minute and answer would help.
Sure. Sure. So it's all about I would say at any point of time, if this is my application which is hosted on
Maybe I have to share your
AWS.
screen. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I'll add it.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Okay. So at any point of time, if you have created anything in AWS, if even if it is an EC2 instance, or it could be your Lambdas, right? So if anyone is requesting it from outside, so I would ideally always say route it through API gateway. Why API gateway would be needed? Because it will allow you to have path-based routing, what you saw, right? Based on if I want to add, if I want to search, I want to do anything, I'm creating methods, and based on that, I can call lambda search or lambda add or lambda search and so on, right? Now, you can also validate, is this really this guy who is allowed to access it? Also, the number of requests per seconds which I'm doing, right? If I'm a gold user, I can do 1,000 calls in a day. But if I'm a
Yeah,
silver user, I can only access certain amount of time. So all those things you can do it
yeah,
as a part of API
monetization
gateway.
of your resources. It can
Yes,
happen on API gateway.
monetization. Yes. So it is build,
Exactly.
manage, and monetize your APIs. And
So think
lastly,
of
it's all
it
about
like as a
caching and so
front
on.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, caching also.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good use case also. So like if you have any common API requests coming in, no need to trouble your database, no need to trouble your backend. You could get it delivered from the API gateway directly. So yeah, that's some great use cases. I call as a front door for your application. Then once you are into a door, you may decide to go to room one or room two or room three, depending on your access card. So consider you went into a hotel. Depending on your access card, you would be allowed to access different areas. Like I could go to gym, I could go to my room, but I may not be allowed to go to someone else's room. So that's how the control system works with API Gateway 2. Thank you so much, Shashank. Really nice. And the workshop link we shared, and we'll be sending an email also out on which you can find the workshop link. So feel free to do it on your own account. I want to emphasize that If you're not into generative AI, still there are a lot of machine learning services which you can directly use, and this is one of the example. Very practical application, very nice use case for your own work, and it allows you to see integration within like 45 minutes to 1 hour side thing. So try this workshop at least. If you are concerned about Bedrock, hey, I don't see a use case, no problem. These services can be really, really useful. So thank you, Shashank, for that. All right. Now I think we are already there for our next speaker. So I'll add Vikas on that. Shashank will come back to you. Thank you so much. I'll stop the screen share and we will add Vikas to the screen. Thank you so much. Give me a minute. I don't know how you work with one monitor, Shashank. I'm confused here. There are so many things to manage on one monitor. I need at least three monitors if I'm delivering. All right. Let me add Prasad and Vikas here. Hey, Vikas, how are you doing? Hey, Prasad.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you very much for having me here.
Good to have you here, Vikas. And sorry for the time confusion. There are a lot of audience also who reported, hey, what time is the session? And it was my thing. Like I managed the schedule and somehow I didn't move forward 1 hour. I moved 1 hour backwards. So that's where all the challenges happen. But thanks for accommodating it.
No
It's
problem. Yeah.
actually my fault. Ashish did send the, like to me to review it, and I said, yeah, it all looks good. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
then,
two
I
main
didn't
thing
want
didn't
to.
work this time.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose this opportunity. So yeah, very
Oh,
flexible
that's
today.
so nice
Thank
to
you.
have you here. We
Cool.
were looking forward to this session. We've been communicating a lot, and it's good to see you again. And you are based in LHR, London, also, right? Because
Yes, London office for last 5 years since I joined
nice,
AWS.
good, good.
Yeah, not
So
too
I'll
far
let you
from.
and Vic Prasad communicate, and I'll be off track. And if there is some question, I'll try to highlight it into the screen, and I'll be again back if there is some questions. Thank you.
thank you, Ashish. So let's switch here to behavioral session. And before I let Vikas introduce himself, as you all know, we are covering uh, the series in 8 weeks in the behavioral section and how you can actually excel at solutions architect interview. And this particular session we'll be talking about once you are in AWS as a solutions architect, how your first 3 to 6 months would look like. And for those who don't know, Vikas, he has delivered a session at reInvent on how to navigate your solutions architect career. Let me do one thing. Let me put that link here uh, so that everyone is able to look into that session later on. But for this session, obviously, we have Vikas live. So let's listen to him. Vikas.
And one more thing before we move on, I wanted to hear from you, Prasad, that why you propose this topic. That what is your intention of bringing this topic? Like, okay, people talk about interview, but we're going beyond the interview. Like, okay, what 3 to 6 months looks like. So give us a little bit hint on that, and then we'll start the conversation.
So idea when we were, creating the curriculum, and a lot of thought goes beyond and behind the scenes in creating the curriculum, and we all brainstorm a lot. And while brainstorming, it was like if we get able to peek into what a person does after joining, they would be able to understand to prepare ahead of the not only for just for joining but during the interview process also. It will help them to get into that groove. I always say, like, manifest the role that you are in, and then it will be always easier become to not only perform in that role but also to get into that role. So that was the idea, that we should be ending the series about, okay, now you're successful in getting into AWS as a solutions architect. How are you going to progress from there?
Makes sense. And I would add one more thing here. Why I voted for this session was because I feel that people think that as a role, hey, from the day one, I have to start delivering. I have to be into front of customer. I have to do design the next Netflix or design the Airbnb. So that's why people shy away from even applying. So that's why we thought, let's give them an idea on what this looks like. We are not like letting you run into the field from the very first day. There's a whole solid onboarding process which Vikas and Prasad would be discussing. So we want to ensure that you know what the life looks before being a SA and after being SA at least for 6 months. So over to you. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So Vikas, yeah, let's start with the introduction.
All right. Thanks, Prasad, Ashish. Thanks for having me here. I've heard about this program from a number of people, and I always wanted to attend it. So, thanks for inviting me here. A lot of people who I mentor or who reach out to me via LinkedIn or somewhere else, I I suggest them to go and explore this program and reach out to Prasad for better guidance. So, yeah, uh, dream come true, I would say. Thanks for having me here again. So my name is Vikas Gupta. I'm a manager of solution architecture at AWS based in the UK. When I say manager, means I take care of the team, I lead the team. I have a team of around 13 solution architects who work with financial services customers based in the UK. And within financial services, we have number of streams, sub-segment, I would say. So let's say insurance, banking, payment, capital markets. So my team takes care of the capital market customer, likes of stock exchanges, asset and wealth management, trading firms, and so on. Been here for 5 years. Actually, today is my work anniversary, I would say. So
Oh,
I
wow.
completed 5 years today. Orange badge, just I received yesterday from office. So what a day to be here. So before AWS, I worked for a number of companies, including Accenture, ING, Nuclear Software based in India. So different roles, different experiences in different parts of the world. I worked in India, Japan, Netherlands, Ireland, and now in UK. So every time I work with different culture, different set of people, it gives me more motivation and learnings and makes me more adaptive. So here I am to share my learnings with you.
Amazing. You're actually a global citizen, I would say. And yeah, leading a team of solutions architect, that's amazing. We'll be able to get a lot of insights from you. So I'll start with a very basic question. And like you have many solutions architect in your team. You said you have 13 solutions architect at this moment in your team. So when a new solutions architect joined your team, what does the first 3 to 6 months for them typically looks like?
Yeah, very interesting question. Because I think when you are hired in AWS, it means you have already demonstrated a bar that we always look for. So you have done the heavy lifting already. You have made it. Now, what comes next? So before I talk about the 3 to 6 months, just give you a little bit more about the essay role. I'm sure it is already explained, but for me, essay role is about leading the technical relationships with the customers or partner organizations and stakeholders you work with. And in AWS, we have different personas of solution architect role. So one type is account SA, where you are a journalist and you work with customers as an account SA. So you take care of the technical ownership with your customer, like a shadow CTO. So you help them build the technical strategy and help them adopt AWS services or any technology that is relevant for them to meet their business objectives. You can also work as a partner SA with a similar role, but you are particularly working directly with the partners so that they can use AWS services to build their solutions and they can use those solutions to help their own customers. So now coming to your question, Prasad, about first to 6 months as an AWS SA, this period is when the new joiner SA have done their onboarding and they have most likely get their customer or account allocated to them. But during the onboarding, they have gone through a lot of trainings, programs, learning mechanisms, learning about Amazon culture, learning about different mechanisms like working backwards, day one culture, two-way door, one-way door. So different mechanisms. I'm sure you have either explained or you know from the Amazon portal that we have, because we are very proud of evangelizing all these mechanisms. We help our customers, but also the enthusiasts to learn more about them. So with this program, the onboarding phase, the new joiner get to learn about Amazon culture, various mechanisms. They also complete
I'll
number
ask
of
a
train.
question
Yeah,
here. How long is that onboarding?
typically the onboarding is the 3 months, um, because the manager creates a plan about a new joiner even before they join, and that plan includes meeting number of people to learn from their experience. You also get an onboarding buddy that help you learn more about Amazon culture, but also help you navigate through different programs that you get enrolled to. You also work on enhancing your technical skills. So of course you have come with some kind of technical background, but we help you learn more. For example, you do a program called architecting on AWS. So you go through in-person or virtual trainings with an instructor-led program, and you also build a project that helps you gain some technical hands-on expertise on various AWS services. There is also a program which enhances your functional capabilities as an SA role. We call that Awesome Builder, and it's a three-phase program. um, for example, if I join Prasad, your team, just want to give an example. So Prasad being a tenured SA, uh, as Prasad will play a role play of an exec. So I will create a AWS value proposition deck, and I will present to Prasad. And Prasad, being a customer exec role play, he will provide me the feedback. So with this experience, I would learn how to actually work directly with the customer. How do I earn their trust? How do I help them understand AWS value proposition? How do I learn how to get better understanding of customers' business objective? That's phase one. In the second phase, I would create a project with hands-on, using my hands-on capabilities and with all the programs that I've gone through, and I create a POC, which is the second phase, and then I present to Prasad again to get a feedback on technical capabilities. So that helps me dive deep into the technical components of the SA role. And in the third phase, I do the whiteboarding session with Prasad again, and Prasad will do the role play of the customer exec again. So that will give me another chance to learn my capability and improve my skills on how to do the whiteboarding session. So in this whole functional training program of three phases, you get to learn about how to earn customer trust, how to create a POC, how to do whiteboarding session, and how to take the whole meeting in for the next step, because you want the customer to feel motivated that AWS is the partner, and it's the right partner to help them create the the solutions that they want to build for their own customer. So there are a variety of trainings, technical, business oriented, to help you create the business acumen that you need as an SA. This is the summary of the first 3 months on the onboarding phase.
Yeah, and if I remember my onboarding 2019, I remember attending architecting on AWS in-person session. It was a really fun 2 day. It was I think 3 day session because I did a advanced and the architecting together. So it was a combined. So there are two separate trainings: architecting on AWS and advanced architecting on AWS.
Yeah.
I was somehow able to get into a cohort that was a combined of both. And 3 days, it was really fun, full 3 days event. And yeah, those first 3 months, depending upon where you are in your journey, it might be very intense. There are few people who come with a very good AWS experience already because they have been with AWS customers or they have built architectures before. And then they focus more on the culture side of it, understanding the Amazon culture, Amazon leadership principles. They focus a lot on networking with as many people as possible. I spent a lot of my onboarding, meeting a lot of people as much as possible in person at that time. But if people are in different geographies, virtually. Um, but for me, because I was coming from a technical background but zero cloud background, so I had no AWS experience. So I had to ramp up a lot on AWS also, and the amount of resources that we have internally is amazing in
Yeah.
terms of learning. It's like drinking from a higher fire hose, right? But it's a great experience. Even I was worried that okay, if I'm joining without AWS experience, and if they ask me to talk to customers about AWS as a AWS SA, it will be very difficult for me. But those 3 months sets you up actually. So do not worry much about, after getting into, will you be getting enough training? You will be getting enough training. Yes, just use that time wisely. The biggest tip I got at that time from my manager is that do not rush in putting your hands up that you're ready for customer conversations, because once you do that, then there is no going back. So take your time as much as you need to get yourself ramped up. So thank you, Vikas, for sharing the entire what happens during that uh, in onboarding, right?
And Prasad, you touched upon a very good point that I want to elaborate. The networking. I think this is really, really important, because when you joined as a new SA, sometimes you feel overwhelmed that how would I learn so many things? How would I keep an eye on all the new announcements that are coming? How do I earn customer trust? Because you are surrounded by tenured Amazonians, and sometimes it is overwhelming. But networking is the key. You get to work with your tenured team members, and you learn from them. It's There is a lot of osmotic learning. When you are in a team meeting, you understand how people discuss the different topics. How do they discuss the challenges? How do they help customers in preparing the roadmap? How do we get the best of the AWS in front of the customer? We have different organizations within AWS, like partner organizations, ProServe, enterprise support, BDs. How do we create a team that can serve the best interest of the customer? And that's what you learn from that atmospheric discussion, osmotic discussions. And networking is key. Like, I met Prasad at reInvent last year, I think 4 months ago, and we discussed about this session. And that's how I got this opportunity to be here. So yeah, networking is key, I would say.
Yeah, and it helps a lot. See, it's as a technology, it is evolving, and it is so vast that you cannot be master of everything. You cannot be expert of everything. So I am a solutions architect with a specific specialty on Microsoft workloads. During that onboarding networking, I met a lot of different specialists, like networking specialist, serverless specialist, security specialist. All of them now have been 5 years into AWS. Now, if I need someone's deep expertise in networking, they are simply a ping away, just because I have built that network over the years. So use that initial time, and overall, it always helps to have a really good network, both in terms of navigating the organization as well as when you would need help technically. Believe me, you would need help technically. However good you are technically, you'll always get stuck. There is a level we can dive deep into in each and every field, right? And for that, I'll take a question from audience. Vikas, Vijay says that he has a Azure Solutions Expert certification. Would it be a good strategy to enhance those skills and map them to AWS services during interviews? Would this allow me to apply early?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we get number of applicants who have no knowledge on AWS, but they are very good on other cloud service providers like Azure or maybe GCP. When we hire someone, we don't expect them to be an AWS expert. We expect them to be technically capable. They should be able to understand the problem, and they should be able to apply some logic uh, to create some kind of roadmap to solve problem. And it could be an Azure technology, it could be GCP technology at the time of hiring. But when you are in AWS, we help you learn the AWS services, because that's what we we talk about when we are meeting customer. So it's always a good strategy to learn a different cloud service provider capabilities as well. And when you have joined AWS, we also encourage people to know about other cloud as well, because we want to make sure that we are aware of what's going on in the wider industry. What are the trends? How do we create a better value proposition about our own AWS services when we are talking to customer? We are not competitor obsessed, we are customer obsessed. So in order to be a good customer obsessed solution architect, you need to have your eyes and ears open. And when if you have Azure capabilities along with AWS, it's a bonus. Like it even if you have to have all the certifications of for AWS, it's so time taking. And on top of that, if you're on Azure expert, that's definitely a much bigger bonus. So yeah, I would always encourage to go wider.
Yeah, like having skills of multi-cloud is always beneficial.
Yeah.
Having a AWS skill is during the interviews is a good to have, not must have, right? So do not worry if you don't have AWS, and if you are good at other cloud providers, it's simple mapping. Don't worry on that. Okay, let's continue our discussion. There are a few other questions that are coming on the chat, but I'll come back to it later. Let's continue our discussion, and let's talk about what kind of training and certifications are recommended in the first few months.
Yeah. So as part of the onboarding plan, the managers create some technical certifications that are needed to in order to become an effective SA, so that you can dive deep on technical discussions with customer. So first certification that we recommend is the Associate Solution Architect cert, because some, as I said, a lot of applicants come with non-AWS background, and when you do the associate cert first, it creates a solid foundation for you. Well, and some people have already done that. So if they have already done that, we take the next step, which is the SA Pro. which actually helps you prepare much better to become a solid technical architect in front of the customer. But SA Pro needs a solid experience as well. Like you cannot just read and do some mocks and then take the test. It has to have some kind of few years of experience on solid architecting on AWS. So that's the second step. Some essays, a few essays, they also take some specialist cert path. If they have passion to learn more about AI, ML, Gen AI, then they take the machine learning specialty cert. Some people are passionate about data, database, AI. So depending on your passion, you can also take the specialist path. Because we as an account SA, we are generalist. My team is an account SA, but there are also specialist SA like Prasad. So they follow their passion to become a container specialist or a data specialist or a Microsoft workload specialist. So different certs for your different capabilities. In AWS internal also, we have some internal certifications. So for example, if you want to speak in a public event like reInvent or London Summit, you need to have a speaker cert at certain level. So we start with an associate speaker and then senior speaker and then speaker bar raiser. So different levels of speaking capabilities that you need to develop in order to become an effective speaker. So that covers your soft skills, and that the earlier one that I mentioned covers your technical skills. Prasad, am I missing anything?
No, you're spot on actually. Depending upon where your journey is, because if I talk about my journey again, I started with as associate certification after joining AWS. Then I went on to go take other associate certifications. At that time, we had developer associate and SysOps associate. Now I will have we have one more associate, right? That's on data or machine learning. We have one more
Yeah.
associate certification right now. I took all the three associate certifications, and then I went to a pro certification because, as Vikas mentioned, that it takes a while to get to the pro. Okay, now let's say the onboarding is complete. The person has got the minimum threshold of technical skills and have gone through the awesome builder program, got the soft skills required. Now the person feels that they're ready to start engaging with the customer, right? So how
Yeah.
does that happen? How do a new SA start engaging with customers and start solving real world problem?
Yeah, great question. So once you have attained that technical and business acumen bar that we expect after going through the onboarding, then just near the closing of your onboarding, you expect your managers to allocate a customer or partner to you. So if I'm a new SA after 3 months, my manager would assign a customer that, okay, from now onwards, you are the account SA of this customer. But we are not going to throw you under the bus. Okay, you go and do it. No, that's not how it works. So you start with a shadowing experience. So if I'm a new joiner and Prasad is a tenured SA, I would start shadowing Prasad's call. So Prasad would lead the call um, uh, during the customer discussion, and I will be a shadow SA, and I will continue to take notes. I will start learning how Prasad interact with customer, and I get that learning experience for maybe a week or for a few weeks, depending on what sort of arrangement how confident you are. Because Prasad being the tenured SA, he will continue to provide me feedback also. Like he will help me decide if I'm ready or not, because that's the feedback mechanism we have in AWS. Prasad would be my mentor as well, because I'm shadowing his call, so he wants to make sure that I have a good learning experience, and I get I get a good capability so that I can independently handle my own customers. So the shadowing goes for few weeks or months, and then the reverse shadowing start. So then I lead the call as a new joiner, and then Prasad will shadow my call, and Prasad will observe how I'm interacting with customer, and Prasad would also can jump in to add more insights and help me navigate through the customer calls or meetings. And Prasad in the background, in the when we are not in the meeting, Prasad can also help me how to create a strategy roadmap, how to create a technical account plan, how to prepare well before the customer call, and when the customer meeting is done, how do I prepare the next steps? How do I help them go to the next step? So this is the like a mentoring mechanism that we have in AWS, shadowing and then reverse shadowing. And when I'm ready with all the shadowing and reverse shadowing mechanism, then I start independently take up the customer engagements. So this is the mental model that we normally work with, because we want to make sure when you're working with customer, you are earning their trust, and the customer trust you as a technical advisor. And in order to build that trust, you need to have a learning experience. So first 3 months is about onboarding, learning technical skills, onboarding skills, but the next 3 months is more about having practical experience in front of the customer. Different essays can take various variable time. It could be few weeks for few essays who have done that in the past. We also hire essay from other part of the AWS. For example, a premium support engineer who aspire to be an essay, they may have different background, so they might take different time than an essay who was who joined as an essay who had previous experience. So depending on your background, we have that variable time of shadowing and reverse shadowing.
Yeah, that's actually, you explained it really well. It's a gradual process to set you up for success, right? It's not going to happen overnight, and there's no pressure on you also. Um, so it's a gradual process that will set you up success. Initially, it will be a lot of self-paced learning, and when you feel you're ready for the field, then your shadowing and reverse shadowing would start. A funny incident happened with me. I was around in my fourth or fifth month, and this was just before coronavirus actually happened. It was February of 2020, 2020, yeah, February 2020. When there was a in-person meeting happening in Poland. We were based in London, and we were going there, and I was going there as a shadow. But the main SA who had to come there to deliver was not able to join us because of some flight delay or something. And suddenly I had to start delivering, and I was so nervous. But there were other people in the room who were actually there to help me and out and gave me the feedback afterwards that how I could have done better. But yeah, it's a really good and fun experience that you go through in the first 6 months, and after that you're on your own. What I love about the SA role is that it gives a lot of autonomy to you. You can decide on the kinds of tasks that you would like to work on. So once you are kind of like gone through this process, then you can create your own schedule about what you would like to focus on.
Yeah.
Cool. I know we have only few minutes left, so let me see if we can take one or two questions, right? Where do we start? Okay, this is the interesting question. Out of 0 to 10, how much essay should be hands-on? See, essay is a hands-on role, but I'll let Vikas answer this.
Yeah, we encourage builder mentality. So unless you have that practical experience of navigating through the through dozens of services we have, you have to prepare a solution that works best for the customer. And how can you prepare a solution when you don't know how actually that service works, or how that complete package works? How do we integrate different services? So I would say, yeah, my ideal essay would be 10 out of 10, that they should be hands-on. But s- some essays may have variable uh, numbers when we say 0 to 10 in terms of hands-on experience. Some people are really great in um, diving deep into the business problems, business objectives, and they probably sometimes they don't feel the need of being the 10 out of 10 hands-on essay. So depending on your role and your experience level, you could be in a different uh, scale. But yeah, for me, hands-on, 10 out of 10.
I completely agree with you. Essay is a hands-on role. What I would like to clarify is hands-on does not mean coding.
Yeah.
Right? Working with customer, interacting with them, whiteboarding with them is also a hands-on. That means you do have the entire knowledge. It does not mean that you are the person who is building the whole application from scratch. There will be like development team that will be doing at the customer side, but you helping them to understand that big picture, coming up with that high level architecture, reviewing the high level architecture, even that is a lot of hands-on work. And a lot of people think that solution architecture is just about development, and from development you become solution architect. That's not the case. You can be from completely infrastructure background. A lot of infrastructure people with a strong infrastructure background, like people who have worked in data centers, they become really good solutions architect, because they know how the whole placement of these racks and the storage and compute and virtualization, all of that works. So if you're defining hands-on as code, let's not do that. If you're defining hands-on as being actually in the room, working with the customer, helping them solve the problem, it is 10 out of 10. Okay, let's move on. Let me see how much. Oh, we are almost on time. Ashish, I'll let you come on and see if there is any other question. Let me.
Yeah, means there are questions, but I think there is time limit is always there in behavioral track. So we 30 minutes is always because is where we have a lot of questions from people, and this is an interesting session, like understanding how actually people work on. So there are questions. Let's take one more question, Prasad, if you feel, and if Vikas is okay with that, and then we
Yeah.
will keep moving forward.
Okay.
So when we talk about like how somebody, let me pick up the specific question which I was seeing. I have to express notification. Give me a minute. Parna is giving us a lot of questions into the chat, so I'm picking up that. uh, Sorry, I'm still struggling. So the question summary was like, once you've been into SA role, and let's say Prasad talked about 3 to 6 months, what other support mechanism exists to help you out as an SA, in case you are not, you are feeling overwhelmed or there's a tough customer or tough situation?
Yeah, as Prasad mentioned, you don't have to be expert on everything, and you have a support mechanism in place. So first of all, your manager being your manager, he could be your coach or she could be your coach, and they can help you navigate through different challenges. You also get a mentor when you are in your first to 6 months. So the mentorship helps you to learn a lot. You can always request for more mentorship. There is an internal mentor portal, and you can go and find the right person depending on what you're looking for. If you want to develop a technical skill in particular area, you can filter and you can find the set of people, and then you can choose who would you like to be through the mentor program. Apart from that, we have specialist teams on various capabilities. So as I said, if your customer is looking for something on container, there is specialist container expert who you can request their support for your customer engagement. If I have a, let's say, Microsoft workload related expertise that I need, I would go and reach out to Prasad through a formal mechanism, and Prasad can pick up that request, and Prasad can join my customer meetings and help me onboard, or sorry, whiteboard the session, but also create the architecture that is needed for building their solution. So a lot of mechanisms available.
Mechanisms exist.
People, we don't leave people to face the problems. We try to help them succeed in this
Exactly.
role.
That's what teams are all about. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree on that. So lots of interaction is required, and that's the first 3 to 6 months. Build your network. Try to understand how other businesses work, what their priorities are, how you can fit it into those priorities, how you can leverage them, or you could be leveraging, you could become a leverage to them. So that's how it works. But yeah, interesting discussion, and thanks for that, Vikas, sharing all the things. And people who could not get all the questions answered, check Vikas session, which he delivers into Reinvent. I think it's been 2 3 years you are delivering the similar sessions, like on the solution architect track.
So my this was my first session, but my colleagues delivered the same session but with different
Okay,
content. So every year we come
different.
up
Yeah,
with a
content
different content.
differs, but yeah,
Yeah,
you
but I
but that
would
is
I would
solution
I would love
architect.
to join more of your session if you want to. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's we need all the hands we can.
definitely.
Thank you so much, and everyone. Thank you for your questions, and we hope you have been enjoying the session. It's been 8 weeks, and it's the last session, so a bit of the sweet and sour feeling also, because now I can do something on my Saturday. That is one good thing. But yeah, now again, I want to look forward to have more sessions with you. We also learn while we interact with you. Some question which you ask, we may not know answer, we go back to the documentation, we go back to services, come back with the answer. So that also keeps us on our toes, and to deliver a better customer experience is always, we are obsessed for being an Amazonian. So that's what we are looking for. So keep your feedback coming. We'll be communicating with you through email, but our doors are open for communication. If you want to use Discord channel, if you want to reach out on LinkedIn, if you want to mail to us back, feel free. give us feedback, and we will also share some more things. There is a quiz which we wanted to share from long, and Parna has done a lot of work on that quiz. So we'll be sharing that quiz link also in email so that you could practice on your own and validate some of your learning which you have done. So that's all I would say. Thanks everyone. And if everyone is okay to be on stage again, let me add everyone, and let's take a formal goodbye, and then we will be meeting again in some time. And Sashank, thanks for the session. It was an interesting session too.
Yeah,
Good.
thanks
So
everyone for joining for continuous,
it's not an
8 weeks.
easy task.
It's not easy, mainly from the audience perspective. I know there are so many things going on in everyone's life, and with professional things and stuff, and then still you're taking time to upskill yourself. That's great. And as Ashish mentioned, that please keep your feedback coming, and in case if you have any suggestions on how we can improve this, let us know. Yes, we will go back to our drawing board for our next season very soon. Obviously, we all will take a couple of weeks for ourselves, and we'll start enjoying our Saturdays too. But after that, we will regroup and we'll think about the next BESA batch. So if you have any suggestions about what we should be covering, let us know. Again, it will be focusing both on technical and behavioral. Like if you remember in the BESA batch 6, we covered the AI practitioner fundamentals on the technical track. In this time we covered the hands-on workshops, right? So we can think about what we would be covering next time. Any suggestions, let us know. Similarly, on the behavioral, as you folks know, we keep on experimenting every time with different types of content, so we will experiment again. So yeah, suggestions are more than welcome. Thanks again for everyone joining.
Thank you.
Parna, Shashank, where you want to add something?
No, I think it was a great run, this series, and it was wonderful having Vikas here. I think he just went off. So, really great insights. I mean, even though we are Amazonians, but every time we get to learn too,
There is
both
something to
technical
learn. I
as well
agree.
as behavioral. You can never learn too much, right?
Oh,
There's always
I
something more. So, it's
yeah,
really
I
amazing. And
would
because
quote Bernard Shaw. He says that you can never be overdressed or you can be never overeducated. So keep on doing it.
definitely, and as all of us are in different places and have different perspectives, we learn even more. I mean, if people don't know, we are
Completely
all in
makes sense.
different parts of the world. Yeah, that's from me.
Good.
Bye and thank you from my side.
Shashank, Kavya,
I would say just thank you. Thank you is like thank you to the team for making it happen. Thank you for the opportunity. And I was just going through the comments, the way people respond or the way they have their questions and genuinely willing to learn. It just keeps us driving. That's all I can say, Ashish. That's it from my end. Running short of words, precisely.
great. And Kavya is the newest addition in our volunteers. So obviously want to hear what she liked and what she didn't.
I think I like everything about this program, and I'm looking forward for the next batch. Thank you
Me
so
too.
much, everyone.
We will do that soon. And yeah, we are getting some suggestions also. We'll work on it. So keep your suggestions coming. We are only 5, 6, or 7 people. So our ideas, but when we combine with multiple ideas from you, that can obviously create wonders. So feel free to share ideas. Keep reach out to us, email, LinkedIn, Discord, and keep the momentum going. We will be soon back with more new interesting stuff. Till then, have a good thing and enjoy your time and keep us informed about anything. Prasad, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just pasted the BESA page link that Marco created. So
Yes,
we have a new public facing LinkedIn
LinkedIn
page for
page.
BESA. We do have a group, but we realized that it's better to have a page than a group, because a group is limited to only the people who join it. Page is something it is publicly available for everyone. So please do follow it and share it with your friends, colleagues, and we'll be posting about uh, the future
Sessions.
thought process that we have. We
Yeah.
will we'll keep brainstorming publicly in the group, in that LinkedIn page. So do follow us and see you all next time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, good day, or good evening. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.